So one of the reasons I wrote the book, Milt, is I said if we as a people, as a black people, I'm going to go and say as we as a black people, don't feel comfortable about jumping the aisle freely and easily as political taste and styles do change, then how can we as a people remain relevant as those changes and styles change at the policymaking table? How can we as a people retain a seat at the policymaking table to have or have not a chance to narrow the widening gap between the haves and have-nots? Because as the country shifts from its center left to its center right or vice versa, we cannot, as a voting bloc, be so aligned tightly in just one side of the aisle and not be relevant when the country does shift in the opposite side. I spent a lot of time in the book discussing very, very carefully about the role of the contrarian in society and how important that is to ask the tough questions, politically correct or not, but just speak about the issues. The reason I wrote this book is I said, here I am, I'm going to have my say. But now, as you read my book, you have your say. You look at the issues, you look at the education of how you see the candidates are meeting your interests, and then you have your say. For one thing that I want to convey in this book, it's more than just about me, the person. Rather, it's about we, the people, who are responsible for we, the lawmakers, who are accountable. And as long as we take that responsibility and that accountability very, very seriously by self-educating ourselves about the issues of health, jobs, growth, taxes, and its increases, what are we doing in our security, and what's happening in the Middle East? And if an ambassador dies after 33 years of not having an ambassador that's died, what questions are we asking of our lawmakers who are us, and making sure that they are accountable, we are accountable, and getting those right answers as to what's happening? That's what I'm writing about in this book.
But as you speak of the interests of, quote, black people particularly, your people, as you said, what needs doing that has not been done? What has been done wrong that needs to be righted? And where is how does one demonstrate that there's a greater possibility of undoing the wrong and doing the right, and really getting the black underclass, to use Bobby Kennedy's term again, getting the black underclass into the middle class and out of the inner city ghetto? What programmatically is possible and desirable? I
think the three tenets that I'm talking about in my book is capital, technology, and competition. My book takes the stance that I'm a growth guy. I believe in growth. You must have growth in the economy and in a group or a sector, an underclass or an overclass, but you have to have sustainable growth in order to build the demands on the other side that are necessary in investment, in government, in consumer spending, in net exports. If you don't have that sustainable growth, then I don't know what you have building to make supply equal demand. The black community has to have a strong cohort of growth guys, growth women. That's the tenets of becoming a self-made man and a self-made woman in America. That's what America is all about, becoming self-made people. And inherently in our history as black Americans, we are self-made men and women. We've kind of lost our way in defining that and inserting that through small businesses, through job creation, not saving a job or inventing a job, but actually creating a job. Not just looking for a job, but being the job. Oftentimes we have to look beyond just trying to hold down the job, but look to advancing and creating a career.
Well, how do you do all of that? How do you achieve all of that when the school system in the inner city essentially fails? And half of the kids don't even get out of high school, and if they do, they're way below their own otherwise national grade level in terms of reading skills or writing skills, and aren't really competent to enter into the larger city in jobs that will get them some significant economic advance and some significant cultural advance. How do you get around the fact that 8 out of 10 black kids are born, quote, out of wedlock, and there are no fathers to provide role models to the male black children as they grow? How do we break that cycle of poverty and degradation and cultural disorganization, which really has characterized the inner city? Though the black middle class long since has left the inner city and gone through full education and represents a totally different sector of the American public. But half of the black population is left behind there and is not, except for individual instances, is not really getting through and not really getting out, not really entering fully into American life. That, it seems to me, is an outstanding problem, just as I know you find other outstanding problems in the decay of our infrastructure. I'm sure you're right about that, by the way. But focusing on what has been the central issue in the black agenda, one doesn't quite see how either party really is going to make a significant difference. I say all of that with some anguish and also with too much verbiage, and we're about to pause for an update on the news. But when we return, I'd love to get your full response to that. We will be directly back then to Oliver McGee after the update on the news. For that, to the newsroom and Paula Cooper.
This is Extension 720 with Milt Rosenberg on 720 WGN.